Hi, this is Jerric from Gray Area Solutions, and welcome back to our channel. In this video, we will be configuring trunk ports, VLANs, and access ports. This video is a part of a complete playlist where we build an enterprise network. We'll build and configure a virtual network from the ground up, one piece at a time. So please join us in this building process. But before we start, for all those who are new to our channel, we'd like you to hit the subscribe button to get awesome videos from Gray Area Solutions, and to hit the like button if you like the video. We also want to hear from you. For all requests and feedback, please write them in the comments section. By the way, my name is Jerric Umali. I'm a network engineer with over 15 years of experience in networking. I've partnered with Gray Area Solutions to provide network training videos like this. Gray Area Solutions is an IT services company here in the Philippines whose main mission is to provide high-performance solutions for small businesses to large enterprises. The links to our pages are below. We will use EveNG to build the network. Shout out to EveNG developers for creating this awesome program. I'm using the free version, but if you want to get the full features of the program, I suggest you buy the full version. Okay, let's start. On the left side, we have our diagram. We have 4 switches connected redundantly, and then we have 2 PCs, virtual PCs connected on the access switches. We're going to configure trunk ports on the ports between the switches. So what are trunk ports basically? Now, without diving deeper into what they are, they're basically point-to-point links between the switches that carry VLANs or multiple VLANs. The fundamental concept videos are in the links below. So how do we configure trunk ports? Okay, so on switch 1, we go to privilege mode and then global config mode, and then into the interface level. We'll be configuring these interfaces: Ethernet 0/0, Ethernet 0/1, and Ethernet /2. So on Ethernet 0/0, we type in switch port, trunk, and then we need to configure the encapsulation first. We'll be configuring .1Q. As I mentioned, the fundamental concepts videos will be separate, and we'll have the links down below for the information. After that, we go to switch port and then mode. There are different types of switch port modes. There's access, dynamic, and trunk. Access basically for your workstations, laptops, and all your end devices. Trunk is your switch-to-switch links. And as I mentioned, all the other information for these ones will be on a different video. Okay? So after that, we're basically done. Usually, as a best practice, we disable negotiation on the switch ports. Negotiation means that it will not try to negotiate its mode. It's going to be configured as trunk if it's configured as trunk, and access if it's configured as access. Okay, so that's mainly what we need to do. Just to take a look at the configuration. Oops, show run interface Ethernet 0/0. So basically, these are the configurations that we need, the lines that we need to put in the interfaces. So I showed you how to configure one by one. Now let me show you how to do this in a shortcut way using the interface range mode. So interface range Ethernet 0/0 up to 0/ hold on, needs to be /2 as well. Then just paste that in, and voila, you're done. This same configuration will be on switch number 2. So let's just copy that and then go to privilege mode and then global config mode and then paste that. And that's it. For switch 3 and 4, we need to configure Ethernet 0/0 and Ethernet 0/1. So using the same technique, Ethernet 0/0 and Ethernet 1. Okay, let me just copy this and put it there. Copy this, const D, and then paste this. And I'm done. So the basic verification commands on Cisco switches would be, one would be the show interface status. This command shows you a brief overview of the links or the switch ports that you have. So it will show you the port name and then the description, if you put in the description there, the status of the switch port, if it's connected or not, and then VLAN information. So for our switch links here, we have all of them as, 3 of them are trunk and then 1 is on VLAN 1. You'll also see the speed and duplex information. For physical switches, you might see more information here, like the SFP that's used and all the other stuff that might show under type. Okay. Another command for verification is the show interface trunk. This will show you more information about the switch trunks. So it's going to show you the 3 trunks that are configured, ports, the mode, the encapsulation, its actual status, and the native VLAN. Will also show you the allowed VLANs on the trunk. If you configure a trunk, it's by default it will allow all of the VLANs. But you will see on this part here, it will only show you what VLANs are actually active. So we can see here that we have VLAN 1 and VLAN 10. Let's verify that on all the other switches. Oh no, before we do that, another verification command is the show interface. You can put in switch port already here, but if you hit enter here, it will, depending on how big your switch is, it will list down all of the switch ports, and all the details for the switch ports. So what you usually want to do is to filter it out to whichever interface you want to take a look at, and then put the switch port option there. When you hit enter, it will give you a lot of information that is very useful. It's going to tell you if the switch port is configured as a switch port or a routed port. It's going to tell you its administrative mode, so it's trunk. Basically, we hard coded it as trunk. The operation mode is trunk, so basically we hard coded it as trunk, and then it basically took its operational mode as trunk. We'll also show you the encapsulation, which is .1Q. If the negotiation for the trunk is on or off, your access mode VLAN, your native VLAN, which is by default native VLAN 1, and then all the other good stuff regarding private VLANs and tuning VLANs. These things are, the information about these things are on a different video. That's all I need to say about that. Okay, now let's take a look at the next. So we're going to configure VLANs. Now before we do that, I think I already created a VLAN here. It's VLAN 10. Check the other VLAN. Okay. Yep. So we have configured VLAN 10 on all of the switches. Okay, to create a VLAN, all you need to do is go to privilege mode and then global exec and then just type in VLAN and then the VLAN number. So let's just create another one. Let's put it VLAN 20, and then under VLAN 20 mode you can put your name. So let's say name is gas. Okay, and then that's all you need to do and to create a VLAN. To verify the VLAN is you just need to show VLAN. It's going to show you all the VLANs that you have. So we created VLAN 20 with the name gas. Okay. All right. These VLANs here, as you might notice, these things 1 and then 1002, 1003 to 1004 and 1005. These are default VLANs that are actually created inside the switch. You cannot delete those. All of the switches will have that. Okay. So we have VLANs, and then what we need to do next is to configure our access ports. Now, access ports are basically untagged ports for the workstations, laptops, and other network devices that hang off of access switches. What we mean about untagged means that there's no VLAN information that's passed or encapsulated in the packet that these devices send out. Unlike with the trunk ports, where we send out tagged packets, the tagged packets will have VLAN information, meaning it will tell you which VLAN the packet belongs to, so that when it hits or reaches the other switches, it will know which VLAN it's configured for. Okay, so on this diagram we have VPC7, VPC8. They are configured with the IP address that's in 10.0.1.0/24. If I hit ping on this, you will see that they can reach each other. When we look at them, they are on VLAN 1. VLAN 1. What that means is they're on the broadcast domain of VLAN 1. Now, as best practice, we usually don't put anything on VLAN 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to move these PCs into VLAN 10. Okay? So we can, so I can show you how to configure an access port. So on switch 3, we go to global config, and then into interface level, Ethernet 0/2. To configure your switch port as an access, we configure switch port mode access and switch port access VLAN, and then the VLAN number. Okay. Depending on how your standards, you might also want to make sure that no negotiate is on this switch port. Okay. So before we go to switch 4, you might notice that on VPC7, the pings have stopped working because essentially these two are on two separate VLANs now. Let me just show you some of the verification commands. The same verification commands that we use on the trunk port essentially works with access ports as well. So show interface status will show you what are the status of the ports or the switch ports. So Ethernet 0/1 and 0/0 are trunk ports. Ethernet 0/2 is now on VLAN 10. And as you can see, even though they're on the same IP subnet, they will not be able to ping each other unless we move this VPC8 into VLAN 10 as well. Another verification command that we also saw earlier was the interfaces, show interfaces, and then your Ethernet to 0/2 and then switch port. This will show you what's its admin mode. So right now it's static access. We configured it as static access. Then the operation mode is static access as well. We also see here that the encapsulation is set to negotiate. We did not change the .1 queue on this, but since it's access, it doesn't really matter. And then we have the trunking, which is off. This is off by doing the no negotiate. Okay, so let's take a look at switch 4 without changing anything. Now, these switches are they have default configuration, so all of the ports will usually be on VLAN 1, and then if you show interface Ethernet 0/2, oops, and then add the keyword switch port, you will see the default configuration that's on this switch port. So right now, by default it's switch port enabled, meaning it's a layer 2 port. We'll talk about that in a different video, what that means. And then the admin mode is dynamic auto. So this is DTP. We'll talk about that in a different video as well. So the operation mode is access, and then we have your trunking encapsulation, which is negotiate, and then the negotiation of the trunking, which is on. Okay, so what we need to do here to basically correct the issue of VPC7 unable to connect to VPC8, we need to go to interface uh, Ethernet 0/2 and then change the switch port. We can actually just change the switch port access VLAN information to 10, and that should correct the problem. Now, it might take a little time for the ARP and all the other protocols to kick in, but while we're waiting for that, let's take a look at the show interface Ethernet 0/2 switch port information. So now we have it static access with access VLAN 10. And you might notice that the ports are working now. In this video, we configured trunk ports, VLANs, and access ports. And as I mentioned, the fundamental concept videos are on the links below. And again, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button if you liked the video. We'll catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching.